Hey yo, this new Monster Hunter Wilds has got me geeked out. I am taken and completely consumed by this new Capcom Monster Hunter iteration. So much so that I decided it was time to upgrade my 30th anniversary PS5 Slim Edition with the new Monster Hunter Wilds plates. I don't know why PlayStation, Sony makes this so difficult to get these, but yeah, it was quite a challenge to get this. They were only sold in Japan, but I still managed to snag one off of eBay. Here's a quick tip. I've opened up enough of these Sony PlayStation boxes now to know to open it from the bottom of the box to avoid breaking that seal. You know, a little collector's tip for you there. Just cut open these flaps on the corners, make sure they're loose, and then simply open up the bottom flaps here, and there you go. Box revealed and ready to be taken out. I have to give Sony credit. Although the paper of the packaging is a bit flimsy and it tears easily if you're not careful, the boxes are put together pretty nicely. I think that's a kind of a Japanese thing to make your packaging come together really well. It's kind of ironic because from what I understand, space is an issue in Japan, and there's also a bit of an ordeal to get rid of and recycle trash as far as how you do it. I guess that's typical everywhere, but because, you know, trash is such a big deal, it's funny that here I am trying to find a way to preserve this box, and I'm sure there's someone in Japan that's trying to find some significant way to get rid of this box. I don't know, thought that was funny. But anyway. This is my first and hopefully my last replacement plates for the PS5 Slim. I mostly got it because I want to retire the 30th anniversary plates from my PS5 console and stash them away in a safe place so that if and when I do decide to resell, the plates will be in a near mint condition. However, it's interesting that the packaging now, instead of coming in two singular plates, comes in not only four, because the PS5 Slim plates now are in quadrants, but it comes in 5 individually wrapped plates because they have to include the option of the disk drive plate in the packaging, and I just think that's so interesting that they have to individually wrap all of this instead of just the 2 plates. I guess when I think about it maybe a little too much, it makes sense why they don't really make that many of these, because it costs so much to produce it now because there's so many parts. Speaking of, it couldn't have cost Capcom and or Sony much to produce this one simple insignia, but I do enjoy the simplicity of having just the singular design on the plate. It's kind of what appealed me to it and made me want to buy one. But yeah, it's just this simple crest, Monster Hunter crest, bottom right corner. Everything else is pretty much the same as the PS5 Slim black plates. Now it's time to remove the original PS5 30th anniversary plates from the console itself. One beneficial change to the new design is that they made the plates much easier to remove. They're all along one side, and there are only 4 different spots to remove, 2 on 2 opposite sides of each singular plate. It's much easier than it used to be on the original PS5 console, and it makes this swapping and changing of the plates much easier. Huge shout out to Flaming Toast. This is not an ad and I'm not sponsored, but I highly recommend if you too want to modify your PlayStation 5 that you visit Flaming Toast at flamingtoast.com. No, but seriously, if you're looking for an affordable way to spice up or cover and protect your PlayStation, go ahead and look at the site because they have a bunch of different options to choose from, and you can also customize yours like I did. To best match the Monster Hunter Wilds theme and color motif, I went ahead and chose the Sunbreak Power Light decal from Flaming Toast. These little strips and corner strips are actually very simple to apply, and I think they are the best option to cover and protect my PS5 Slim 30th anniversary to make sure that there is no peripheral damage on the console. So just to apply it, it's pretty simple. Just line up the strip to the outside edge of the console's power strip. Once you get one edge of it down from the bottom, go ahead and line it up and press it down all the way, leading it up to the top corner of the console. You'll have to eyeball it a little bit, but it's pretty simple and straightforward to put on. The corner strip takes a little bit more effort, but it's pretty easy still. You'll want to line up the corner of the console with the cutout corner of the strip and make sure they line up exactly. When you press it down, the corner strip will slightly overlap with the strip that you already placed down from the bottom of the console up to this corner of the console where the strip sits. So don't be afraid if it overlaps, that's okay. As if meant to be modified, the PlayStation 5 console has a little spot in the top left corner where the PlayStation logo is engraved and allows for a space that Flaming Toast has created small decals for. I bought the 3-pack for the red version so that I had a choice between red, the original PlayStation logo colors, or white. Ultimately, I chose white so that there was a small accent that matched the Monster Hunter Wilds logo on the Monster Hunter Wilds PS5 Slim plates. Okay, now to flip the console over and apply the power light decal the same way we did to the other side onto this side. My initial concept for the center strip decal for the Monster Hunter Wilds PlayStation 5 console modification was to have the Monster Hunter Wilds logo be centered in the fat part of the strip. When I submitted my order, I got a response from Dave, and he sent me 3 options, one being the one that I asked for, and 2 being his adaptation on my request, and asked if any of them were ones that would satisfy me, and I chose ultimately the 3rd option that had the logo kind of spread out and widened a bit more along the entirety of the center strip. And man, I gotta say, that was such a great suggestion, and I greatly am so ecstatically appreciative of that suggestion. So shout out to Dave at Flaming Toast for suggesting an option that I hadn't thought of, and one that I actually really like now. Thank you. What appeals to me the most about these Flaming Toast center decal strips is that they are malleable and easy to adjust when you're applying them, and also the fact that you can remove it without it leaving any type of residue. This really appealed to me because I'm of course looking to protect my console as much as I can from any signs of aging, like any nicks or scratches, or any UV radiation exposure that would cause it to, discolor over time, or anything that I can do to maintain the mint condition of the console itself over the duration of my ownership of it. Flaming Toast does have dedicated videos with instructions on how to apply this center strip to the center of the PS5 console, so I do recommend that if you do decide to invest and that you do want to put this decal on your PlayStation, that you go watch that video and get a more detailed explanation on how this works. But I will try my best to explain it, because the trick of it is that the concaved area of the corner of the PS5 console makes this part a bit tricky when you want to apply the center strip. But if you press down on the center and then spread it out to the edges, eventually when you apply and then take off and then reapply and repeat the process of pushing out from the center out to the edges of the console, eventually the material itself, which is malleable like I said, will conform and shape to the shape of the console itself. After one last pass to push out any informities in the console decal, it's pretty much smooth and ready to go, and it looks fantastic. All that needs to be done now is to put on the Monster Hunter Wilds themed PS5 Slim disc plates, and it is all good and ready to go. And like I said, this redesign makes doing this so much easier. You just basically push in one side and then snap in the plastic hooks that are on the plate into the console, and voila, it's done. Yeah, that white detail with the PlayStation logo does look really nice and does match really well with the Monster Hunter Wilds emblem on the bottom right corner there. Yeah, that was a good touch. Much better than the red. The red doesn't really match that well. Now to plug her in and see how she looks turned on. My complete and total immersion isn't over quite yet, because I managed to also snag the Monster Hunter Wilds themed Dualsense controller from PlayStation. And yeah, I also played Monster Hunter on the Nintendo Switch, and I got the Pro controller that was themed after Monster Hunter on that console, and I played the hell out of that thing, and it felt good. It felt as if I had an actual Monster Hunter Wilds weapon in my hand while I was playing, so I feel like I have to repeat that feeling that I had on the Nintendo Switch with Monster Hunter Wilds on the PS5 and go ahead and buy the Dualsense themed controller and, you know, be all in this round again. The Monster Hunter Wilds Dualsense controller is the first themed PS5 controller to use the metallic series of Dualsense controllers as its templates. The previous themed Dualsense controllers have either used black or white as their template for the controller, but this is the first to use the Volcanic red, and it is on fire. It's hard to see, but there is a subtle metallic engraving that's a darker red color that is accented when the light shines on it in a certain way, and it gives it a nice kind of aesthetic that is pleasant to look at. I wanted to add a little bit more sauce to the Dualsense controller. I felt like it was missing a little bit of something, so I did some research looked online and found this company called eXtremeRate, and they make small modifications for the Dualsense controller, and I found this volcanic red accent for the Dualsense that is pretty easy to attach and modify the existing controller. So I thought, yeah, you know, red on red I think would look way better than the black that was chosen for the original. eXtremeRate sends all the essentials in the package, including the trim shell for the Dualsense and 2 replacement washers to sit on top of the joysticks. They also include a set of tweezers to help you pry off your existing trim shell from your Dualsense edge. To detach your trim shell from your Dualsense controller, you'll want to focus on 3 major areas of the trim shell. The very corners or ends, you'll want to stick your tool into the small little gap at the bottom of the Dualsense and unhook this latch at the end of it. And then in the very center of the trim shell, underneath the 2 joysticks, in the very center there will be another hook or latch that you'll want to take out of the casing of the controller. And once you've unhooked those 3 specific parts of the trim shell, it should come off relatively easy. When attaching your replacement trim shell, you'll want to first insert these little horns into this underneath portion of the center plate of the controller, and then again focus on the 3 areas of the trim shell that lie at the ends or at the bottom and underneath the center part of the 2 joysticks of the Dualsense. Learning from my experiences with previous controllers, I decided to invest in these condoms for the joysticks. You know, just to make sure I don't get any wear and tear on my sticks from self-pleasuring myself that would cause me in the future to be upset about the condition of said joysticks. But in all seriousness, I did catch a little bit of the stick drift with the last Pro controller that I had that was a monster themed one. So I'm gonna learn my lesson this time around and use protection and make sure that I don't have to retire this controller because I wasn't being safe. The stick protectors from Oniaim were extremely easy to put on, and Oniaim makes multiple different themed colored stick protectors, so if you wanted to pick one up for yourself, I just chose the red one because I thought it matched really well. After that, I went ahead and put my typical modification for the sticks on. I like to elevate the left stick, and then I like to widen the right stick. There's something about the symmetry of the Dualsense that always throws me off, and I need something that feels a little bit more asymmetrical for my brain to, I guess, discern left from right. I don't know, it's just a personal thing, it might not even be real. Overall, I'm pleased with the modification and the way that it turned out. I think the red on red is saucy and it looks good. I love the red accents that you can see when you look closely at it. I think it really is well done, and I'm happy with the work and the effort that I put in to make the modifications, and I'm glad that I invested. Hey yo, Capcom is cooking with gas with this new Monster Hunter. I've been completely and totally sucked in and absorbed into the world that is Wilds, and I'm looking forward to seeing what all it has to offer. It seems like so far they're invested in improving and making the game better, and I can't wait to see what all they have to offer. Cheers. Hey yo, you know the like button is free? If you made it this far into the video, we appreciate you spending your time with us. Subscribe and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye bye.